Hey guys. Um so welcome to part 4 of my college experience. Yeah, I remember I was talking about crew last time in my other video. Um so right now, I feel like I really want to just make sure that I focus on the International Christian Church and how crew played a role in that and how I got involved. Um, so basically, you know, I felt a huge atmosphere of racist tendencies in the group, and that's very true. And I have people who can corroborate me. But at the same time, I also noticed that, like, you know, they were really nice to freshmen, but let's say this person was like a second year and they were black or something like that, or anything like that. Like, honestly, these these people in crew, they are so intimidated by strong people, by people of color who have it well for them, and they just can't handle that. It's the weirdest thing. They're so selective in their approach. They're so cliquey. Like, and some of them have racist tendencies. Like, I can't stop. So there was this new guy who was new to crew. I had never met him before, but he was Nigerian American from my understanding. And yeah, I just remember, during that time, um there were actually times where he would just be standing, you know, he was at the crew meeting, but like he would be by himself, like standing next to one staff member. And it's kind of like, you know, he's new. Why don't someone from the leadership team say hi to him? Like, what's wrong with you guys? Why are you guys so intimidated by black people? Like, I don't I don't understand it. And I may never understand it because I am not white. But at the same time, you know, this guy, like, he was really nice. Um, I'll admit he was very good looking. And even if no one on the leadership team was gonna say hi to him, like, if no one was gonna say hi to him, I was gonna say hi because this guy was really nice. Um, and it just shocked me how, you know, the people on the leadership team, they just can't open their mouth and just greet someone and just make someone feel welcome. Like it's like they want to make sure that their group stays a certain way. I don't really know how to explain it. One of them's going to have to explain it because it's just ridiculous. So, um I really have to trust myself and my gut right here, and that's what my gut is telling me. And that's what it's telling me, like, then that's what it is. I had one black friend that I invited to come to crew one meeting, and she left the meeting, and she was so upset. I said, "What happened?" And she said, "They're so clicky with their approach. They're so selective on who they talk to, and there were a couple of girls in the group who were judging me by what I was wearing." And I was like, wow. I even saw it myself. I saw one girl in crew, like, look her up and down, and I was just kind of like, you know what? You guys need help. So, there was another girl that I invited to crew one meeting. And I wasn't there at the time, but she told me, like, nobody spoke to her. Nobody spoke to her except for one staff member. And I was like, what? nobody said hi, nobody said anything, and it's like, no, I felt so awkward. And then I was like, yeah, there's something wrong with those people. As of now, when I'm recording this, I have unfriended those people from Facebook. If I needed to block some people, I did, because honestly, I see the world so differently now that I can't allow any negative energy into my life. So, um, now that I've just like really just ranted about crew, okay, I'm gonna talk about this guy. You know, I'm gonna give him a name. His name is Trey. So Trey was a really nice guy. He was Nigerian American and he was new to the group. And I think for me, it was nice to see another black guy in the group. Like, to be honest with you guys, like, I was happy that he was there. And I really liked talking to him. But I guess not everyone else did. Some people pretended to know him, but they didn't really know him. I'm on to those people, and I've had enough. So basically, what happened next was kind of funny. So Trey, I didn't know this at the time, but while he was coming to crew, he was also studying the Bible with a cult called the International Christian Church. I didn't know that was happening at the time. And if I would have known that that was happening at the time, I would have like spent more time with him. But, I can't really blame myself for him joining that group. I have to put the blame on crew and their unwelcoming behavior. Shoot. So basically, I noticed that Trey wasn't coming to crew as much anymore. And I got really worried because I was like, oh, wait, I want to see him again. So I was like, wait, I'm friends with him on Facebook. So I sent him a Facebook message. I was just like, hey, like, are you coming to the next agape meeting? Like, yeah, it would just be really fun to see you. And he goes like, oh, I won't be there. Like, I'm in a new church now. And I was like, oh, what church is that? And then he told me the name of the church. He said it was the Boston International Christian Church. I was like, oh, I've never heard of this church before. And so I asked him like, oh, is it really diverse? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. And then he said, yeah, like we're having a Bible study like this Tuesday. And I was like, oh, okay, I can come. I can definitely come. I mean, like, I still wanted to see him. And I was like, the church I was going to be honest, guys, during my 4th year, it was literally a business. Like, honestly, that church was a business. Literally a business. So, for me, like, I think for me, like, I really needed to think. I really wanted to go. So, you know what? They were meeting at Berkeley, the Berkeley College of Music at the time. So I thought like, oh, hey, I can just come to a meeting. Like, why not? It should be fine. Oh my goodness. So I get to Berkeley and I'm like, oh wait, where's the group? And I noticed that like, you know, they were there and they were all students of color. I mean, not that that's a bad thing. Like they looked just like me. And I was like, wow, there are so many black people here. This is awesome. And they were so nice and loving, and they were really welcoming. I mean, so much more welcoming than crew. And yeah, I saw Trey there and I was like, hey, and like he hugged me and like he introduced me to the group, and like now that I see, at the time they were love bombing me. I can't, I'm so upset because honestly their love felt so genuine. Like I don't even know how to explain it, guys. Like they really wanted to get to know me. Like they wanted to know like how am I doing, and they even asked if I wanted to be discipled. And for me, oh, this is another thing about crew that I just so bad. I wasn't being discipled in crew. I couldn't even disciple other people in crew. I wasn't in leadership and I wasn't deemed as more spiritual enough to be discipling anyone, I guess, by the leadership team or whatever. And, that void that I had of, wow, no one's discipling me, what the heck? It also, like, opened my eyes to, like, hey, like, this sucks. And I thought, like, when am I going to be discipled? How many times do I have to tell someone in crew that I need to be discipled? Like, I remember the first time someone talked about D group, and I was like, I don't know what that is. Just to know that I was completely excluded from it, and it was just full of white people. Like, they have some racist tendencies in this group, but I'm not going to say they're completely racist. Unless they talk about people behind their back, which is not surprising. I don't care what they say about me. If they want to text me, if they want to contact me, I probably won't respond. But if they have a question, I'll probably respond. But I guess they're too intimidated to. So, anyways. So I just, I really had to think about, why the love bombing worked. And I had to realize that there was such a deficit in crew that's why the love bombing worked so well. And I don't even blame Trey for joining. But it's not good for him to join the group spiritually. So basically, when I went to this Bible study group with the International Christian Church, I noticed that it was structured just like an ICOC Bible talk. Like, it was like the same thing. And in my mind, I was like, this seems similar. My spirit would just tell me, like, this is similar. Like, why is this like the ICOC, except it's not the ICOC? Like, what am I missing here? I couldn't put my finger on it. It's just like the ICOC Bible talk. But lo and behold, it isn't until now that I opened my eyes and realized that when the ICOC kicked Kip McKean out of the church, Kip McKean started a new cult, and he named it the International Christian Church. Wow, I was just like, oh, that makes so much sense. The ICOC is still following Kip's theology, but the ICC still has Kip as the leader, and it's probably a lot more stricter and worse. Yeah, that Bible talk, it made me come back, but, I just, to just realize that, I was being love bombed, it just, This is the funny thing, though. So, I leave the Bible study group, I leave the Bible talk, and, next week I go to crew. All of a sudden, one of the staff members, she comes by and she sits next to me and she's like, do you remember that, that Nigerian student that, came by, to crew, a couple of weeks ago? And I was like, yeah, his name is Trey. I don't even think she just remembered his name or whatever. And she goes, yeah, that Bible study group you went to, it's a cult. And my head was like, how do you know that? How do you know I went to a Bible study group? And she goes, well, one of the staff members told me, because Trey had a meeting with one of the staff members, and that staff member told me. And in my mind, I was kind of like, why couldn't this staff member talk to me himself? Like, why is he using you? Like, am I intimidating? Because I was so confused, because if this staff member had a problem, why couldn't he that's what I did not like. I did not like that. If you have a problem, don't go to someone else and just be like, oh, talk to Jaylene about this. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, like, what the heck? So yeah, I got really annoyed by that. And on top of that, the staff member talks to me and she says, you can't go back there again. They're blacklisted and they changed their name. And in my mind, I was just like, wow. I was on my way to leave the crew meeting, and the staff member, she goes, oh, wait, let's all pray for Trey. And I'm thinking to myself, like, you didn't even know him. You can go ahead and pray. But I'm walking out. And then as soon as I walk out, she hugs me. And I'm just like, okay. And I walk out. And in my mind, I was like, great. I knew I was going to have to talk to Trey eventually. And this is the funny part. I guess the scary part, kind of, because that's when the ICC showed their true colors. So I texted Trey and I said, hey, like, can we meet up again? Like, I would love to talk. And he says, like, oh, yeah, we can talk right after the Bible talk next week. And so I was like, oh, yeah, sure. So I go to the second Bible talk, and they're still really nice. And the funny part is they have their leader there. Like, the lead evangelist, I think, or whatever. He was actually at the Bible talk. And he was really nice. Like, he was white. And for me, one thing that it seemed really odd to me is that, You have all of these black students, in this group, and then you have that one white evangelist. I even had someone explain to me that, like, the higher you go in leadership in the ICOC, the wider it is. And it's the same thing with the ICC. The higher you go in leadership, the wider it is. And for some reason, it kind of just, it clicked to me. And you know how they practice mind control, the ICOC does, so does the ICC. It made me think about slavery and how when you allow someone to control your mind, you are like mentally enslaved to them. And it really just opened my eyes to what was going on. And I thought to myself, you know what? This is wicked. Yeah, this is wicked. So basically, I went to the Bible talk because I wanted to talk to Trey. And, I really wanted to see how he was doing. What can I say? So I go to the Bible talk a second time, and, the leader's there. And I remember, after the Bible talk and everything, oh, you know what? Before I talk about this, let me talk about how they were trying to get me to go to their church. So after the Bible talk, I remember, I guess we'll name this girl, Olivia. So Olivia, she's talking to me and she goes like, hey, are you looking for a new church? And I'm like, not really. I'm going to one right now. And she's like, we're having Women's Day. And she hands me this, I guess it's like a flyer, but not really a flyer. It's like a card printed on like cardstock. And it's just like about Women's Day, about women sharing their experiences, their testimonies. And I was like, wow, this event sounds so awesome. That's so cool. Women's Day? And a part of me was like, wow, I should really go. And then I looked at the card again and I saw like, oh, I have to pay money. And to my mind, I was like, why do I have to pay money for this event? And then Olivia goes, oh, no, we'll pay for you. And I was like, oh, okay, that's awesome. And then I remembered, oh, wait, I have to serve at my church this week. I have to set up the chairs and everything. So I realized that because of that commitment, I could not go. And then Olivia's like, oh, it's okay. And she goes, let me know if you're still interested in discipleship. Like, that's still open. And so I was like, oh, okay, thank you. So I'm just going to fast forward to what I really wanted to talk about. So at the end of the Bible talk, I spoke to Trey. And I was telling Trey, like, I just wanted to have a casual conversation with him. So we sit kind of close by to the group, but not really since they're all talking. And, I'm thinking that we would have at least a little bit of privacy. But guess what happened? As I started talking to Trey, the lead evangelist stood so close to him. It was the weirdest thing. It was like I was trying to talk to him, just trying to ask him how he's doing. And this lead evangelist is literally eavesdropping. Like, he's literally standing so close to Trey as if he's attached to him. That's very weird. Oh my goodness. And I thought to myself, like, as I'm talking to Trey, like, why is he standing so close to him? What's wrong with him? Oh my goodness. And Trey doesn't even, it doesn't even bother him, but oh my goodness. So I tell Trey, like, how are you doing? And he's like, I'm okay. And I'm like, did you tell a staff member that I was at the Bible talk? And he was like, yeah, because apparently the staff member was just telling him how bad the group was. And then he just wanted to mention that, that I was there. So I guess that's how I kind of got into this mess. But anyways, so I start to open my eyes and I think, wow. So, yeah. I think what we really need to think about in this moment is, why was the lead evangelist standing so close to Trey? And we also have to think about, if he's standing so close to Trey, why? Is it because he's worried that I might say something that might get him thinking? Is he worried that if I say something that he'll leave the group? And it's just like how these people are just predators. They prey after people who feel like the group that they're in, the group that he was in, crew, is lacking, and they give them community. And so I fully put the blame on crew. Shame on you, crew. You should have done better. But you know what? It doesn't even matter, because Trey, as of now, is still in this cult. And if he's going to leave, he needs to leave on his own. So, yeah, that's what, it just really came down to. He needed to leave on his own. And, yeah. So, there was this one day, I was just like, I guess this one day I just, was on Facebook, and, I saw the pictures of Trey being baptized, and I was just so upset with crew at the time, and I just thought, you are the reason he's in this group. You guys are so cliquey, so unwelcoming, but you won't change unless you change your heart. And I think that's just what it came down to, like, just a change. Like, this group, like, members, they need to change their heart. And, on top of everything else, like, I became Facebook friends with Olivia. And I'm just going to fast forward up to now, and this is kind of funny. So, I sort of just, like, separated myself from the ICC, and I was just kind of like, you guys are not going to recruit me. Even during this pandemic, like, they're still recruiting people, and they're not going to stop. I have to talk about this. So, I think, like, a couple weeks ago, even, like, in the midst of this pandemic, Olivia puts a Facebook post up of mental health or something like that. Like, she was just talking about, like, there was just going to be this Zoom group for women, and we were going to talk about mental health. And, like, I'm scrolling through my Facebook, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is so awesome. So I liked the post. And guess what happens? When you like especially during this pandemic time when you like just one post. I didn't even comment, like I just liked it. And she still has my number. Immediately she texted me. She's like, hey, like you can still come to our Zoom group. It's happening at this time. And, you know, here's the meeting ID. Here's the password. And I'm just like, oh boy. Like I literally felt tempted to be a part of this group, to be a part of the International Christian Church. And I was just like, nope. I told my mind we need to resist temptation. We need to resist the devil and he will flee. And I thought to myself, like, oh my goodness, like what is going on? What is going on? Like, oh my goodness. So, it really opened my eyes to the fact, like, the members of the International Christian Church, they're predators. And if you are lonely, you are prey. So you need to make sure your mindset is strong enough to resist it, because I'm telling you, the pull is strong, but you still have power over your mind and your body. You can resist it, just like I did. So just to like keep boundaries, you know, with her, I unfollowed her on Facebook, and I decided, like, you know what? I don't need to see her post anymore. I think looking back with the International Christian Church, like, I don't blame myself for being tempted, because I was a part of crew which also had their flaws, and they also couldn't stand up to their name. And so they named themselves agape, which is the highest form of love, and they couldn't live it out. Don't brand yourself. Honestly, to be honest, I think they should rename, you know, the group, because don't brand yourselves as agape if you cannot practice it. Like, every single member needs agape training. Like, I can't. Even the staff. I think, like, with what else I can say with crew, like, there have been times where I felt really used in crew, and I felt so devalued, like I didn't matter, and that I was just another member, and that I couldn't help out in leadership, and that I couldn't do anything. Like, I just didn't matter. And these people really took a hit on my self-esteem, because it was like, what am I here for? I should just leave. Ooh, I don't even want to tell you what happened when I decided to leave. These people are... oh my goodness. So, basically, like, I guess I don't really have much to say about my fourth year, but I guess let me just talk about how crew how some of the crew staff sort of had these, like, well, there was this one staff member. She had this, like, sort of, like, racist tendency. It was kind of implicit. So I remember, you know what? Let me just fast forward to my fifth year, my final year. I remember I was talking to a crew staff member over text, and she was like, oh my goodness, like, we have new freshmen, like, you should come by, and, you know, yeah, I need someone to, like, you know, help me, like, you know, talk to them, you know? And I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, this is kind of random. And I get there, like, super early, and I see this staff member, and oh my goodness, the one thing that she said to me, this still triggers me to this day. She goes, oh yeah, I had to text you. I had to, call someone over because the people on the leadership team were busy. And I'm just like, in my mind, like, so you basically just wanted me here because I was your last choice. That's so nice of you. Annoying. Oh my goodness. So you literally just called me not because you wanted me to talk to these freshmen, but because I was your last option. Thanks. Mind you, I think one of the reasons why she didn't want me to come, the freshmen that she was speaking to, they were white. She probably needed a white person to be more quote unquote relatable. And so for me, excuse that. I don't know if you guys can hear the phone call, but yeah, they just wanted someone who was quote unquote relatable. She doesn't really call me if she needs someone to talk to white freshmen. She doesn't. She has, other white members of the group to do that. But let's say if the freshman is black, let me call. Oh, jeez. She said, let me call Jaylene. Let me call Jaylene and let her know that, maybe she can be nice to this freshman. It's like, if the freshman was black, let me just put a black person with her and let them relate. If the freshman was white, let me just put a white person with her and let them relate. It's like so stupid. But to be honest, there were white freshmen who left the group. So I'm not the only one who's seeing the weirdness there. The leadership team, they were very awkward. They were very exclusive, very cliquey, and they need help. So moving forward, I just feel like, crew failed me. They failed so many other people, and that needs to stop. To be honest, as of right now, these people are, I recently just graduated, and these people, I'm getting so many texts, I'm getting so many emails, I left the group. I told a staff member that I was leaving the group, and she would not respect my decision. At the end of the day, crew did not care about me. They did not care about what I wanted, my opinion, what I needed. They just cared about crew. And so, you know what? I'm really glad I left. I'm really glad I'm not talking to people there. And I'm really glad that, the friend that I thought I had in there, well, Andrew in particular, he stopped talking to me. So you know what? I don't need him, and I don't need anyone else in crew. And I'm very happy. So I guess this goes to say, how silly things can be. But I guess for my next video, I'll probably, I mixed a lot of things together. So I'll probably talk about how Amway recruited me. And I'll probably talk about, my spiritual attack by the ICOC. So I guess I have one final video that just really brings together, why I eventually went back to the ICOC. And, I really need to just, bring that to the light. As you can see, I've been through a lot. And to be honest, I want to mention, oh, I forgot. I forgot to mention the guy that influenced me to go back to the ICC, but I guess I'll mention him in the next video. But yeah, I completely forgot about him. I am not talking to him as of this moment because an ICOC member in some way can be really toxic and you need to set boundaries. And because I didn't have any boundaries with this guy, I set myself up for a headache and basically nerve pain to just keep the story straight. But yeah, I will be talking about him in the next video, and I will be talking about Amway and that spiritual attack, and yeah, and how that really influenced me today, especially with everything that's going on at home. So yeah, I just want to thank you guys so much for listening. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if you have any questions, because I did not take any notes before doing this video. I just wanted to just say my truth. But I think it's really important that if we've been hurt by these kind of groups, like, our confidence needs to go up. They want to silence us. They want to keep us quiet. But they know that because we are using our voices, that we can get one person to just stop, going to Bible talks, to just stop going to the group altogether. You really have to think about how, like, if it wasn't for that article that Harvard wrote, if it wasn't for that guy or girl, I can't remember who wrote the article. I think it was a guy that, like, wrote an article on the Boston Church of Christ. If it wasn't for his, his determination, like, I probably would have never, gotten to, like, where I am today. I'm away from that group, and they have no influence or control over me, and I'm not going to stop speaking out. So yeah, thank you so much, and yeah, stay tuned for part 5. Bye, guys.